Hi, it's Red Snapper, and welcome to the Showgirl's Closet. I had planned to do an episode on this a couple months ago, and it was scheduled for down the line in December, talking about Richard Simmons. He came back online. He had years and years of privacy after giving so much of himself to people, and when he came back online, I felt like it was okay to talk about him in the Showgirl's Closet. He holds a very special place in our hearts. And then he passed recently, and that was very upsetting. I needed a little space. The year's been challenging. I needed a little space before I could talk about it. I have some memories I'm going to share with you, just a few memories, because I had the great fortune of meeting this man and getting to know him a little while I lived in Los Angeles. He was a uniquely Los Angeles experience. So he taught classes. He had classes at his Slimmons Studio in Beverly Hills every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And you knew you were getting him teaching on Saturday, and sometimes his other teachers would teach. I remember watching him on General Hospital when I was a kid. I remember he was on a magazine cover, I think, with all of his Dalmatians. He had a bunch of Dalmatians, and I loved Dalmatians. So he has, I knew of him from childhood. And my mother knew who he was, and my mother didn't know him, but she knew who he was because we watched General Hospital when I was, a little thing. Very inappropriate, but I watched it anyway. And I decided one day I was taking a whole bunch of dance classes in a year, and I told my friend Evie Lavelle, I was like, we got to go to Slimmons. We have to do this thing, and how amazing would it be? And Evie's mother was a fitness enthusiast. So she's like, yes, let's go. So we went to Slimmons, and before the big workout class with him, he did like a self-care kind of class, because a lot of people went to him to talk about eating disorders and health challenges. He was amazing at giving his time and giving himself and care to people. But before his, the big Slimmons class, you could go to the earlier class where he would talk about make sure you take care of yourself with your eating, make sure you love yourself, very positive, affirming things. And after that was the big class, the very big class with people packed in the workout room working out with him. And his other instructors were there to help lead the way in case he wanted to entertain during points in the workout. You had to get there early and wait outside this door. I think there were swinging doors, or maybe just one, like a restaurant kind of door, because he had a salad bar there back in the 80s or 90s, well before we went to Slimmons. And my first time there, I think, was 2011, so I had to pee. And people are crowding into the lobby. You pay for your class, and you hang out in the lobby, and they tell you no cell phones, put them in your car, because they didn't want people filming class. I mean, nowadays, it would have been bananas with TikToking. We turned our phones on silent and tucked them into our handbags, and everybody's waiting outside. You're waiting to be the first one into the classroom because you want to make sure you get your spot. And the regulars were in the front couple rows because they knew the routine. And people would sit in the back rows of the classroom, and they would work out in their seats. They would sit, because you could do a seated workout. And there were people of all skill sets in the class. So it wasn't like going to a hip hop class and you were getting served because you were brand new to the hip hop class and everybody had been doing it for a long time besides you. So I had to pee, and I went to the front desk, and there are people just crowding in. It's like general admission, crowding into the lobby. And I go to the desk and I say, I need to pee before class starts. And she's like, okay, go through the door. Go very quietly back to the dressing rooms. Do not make a sound. Do not interrupt. Just go back there. Be very quiet. So I'm like, okay. And I'm very excited because I'm going to meet this person who has been, you know, an icon, truly an icon that I recognize from childhood. And I'm here. And how exciting is this? I'll be able to tell my mother that I got to go to Slimmons. I didn't think I would meet this man, or like not really meet him, or not really talk to him, because it's Los Angeles. So you might be sitting behind Beck at a thing and you're like, oh, okay, this is just part of life in Los Angeles. But this, this is exciting. So I sneak in the door and I'm, you know, walking very quietly, not interrupting, not looking over and making eye contact. And, you know, I'm just like, okay, sneaking to the bathroom. And he said, well, hello. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've failed in my mission. I'm supposed to creep, but okay. Hi. And I'm very excited. And he said, and you are? And I said, well, I'm Red Snapper. I'm a burlesque performer. And he was like, oh, well, look at you. I said, yeah, I was just going to go. And then I was, you know, all flushed and excited because, oh my God, he talked to me, right? He knows that he has maybe 8 to 10 people in the classroom that he's sitting on the floor chatting with. And I was caught. I was like, okay, but it stuck in his mind that I'm a burlesque performer. I go do my business. I come back out and I'm like, oh my goodness, maybe I talked, you know, this is so exciting. And he called me by that name for all of the time that I went. He called me Red Snapper, and I'd come in, he'd say, well, hello, Red Snapper, when I would go to classes, because I continued to go. And you get the endorphins and the excitement from the workout, you know, the knee pulls and all of that. It was just such a joyful place. So happy and wonderful and cheerful, and you are sweating buckets, and like, you want to show up, and if you get close to the front, you gotta f***ing work. You have to work. And you've got to pay attention because people around you are also very excited about being there, and they don't know to pay attention in the workout bubble. They haven't been in dance classes with other people where you need to have spatial awareness, and I'm sure they're over the moon about this whole experience. So it's like, okay, well, somebody's running into my side, so I guess I'm just gonna do my knee lifts over here. It was crazy and amazing and fun. And we continued to go. And he knew that I was a burlesque performer, and he called me Red Snapper. And our relationship, such as it was, I was still very much a fan, developed through me going to classes and continuing to go to classes over a couple years. I started going in 2011. And in 2013, I told him about Hollywood Burlesque Festival, and he so graciously and generously and without being asked volunteered to help sponsor. So he helped make that first Hollywood Burlesque Festival happen. The first year of anything, it is so expensive and so difficult, and it's hard to get people's attention. And he helped with that. And I made him a pair of white feather fans because his mother had white feather fans. So I made him a pair of feather fans and presented them to him along with other members of the Hollywood Burlesque Festival crew at a Slimmons. And we did a night of Slimmons the week of the festival. So people who came to town, like there was someone from Canada who came and we took her to Slimmons, and somebody who came from Austin, just people from wherever, anyone who came to town, we took them on like a Tuesday night or a Thursday night, like, let's go to Slimmons, so that they could experience the thing and they could meet him. And that was great fun. I cherish the fact that he liked me enough to be willing to meet people in my circle and to sponsor the festival. Like, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. All right. Outside of the festival, I have a couple of trinkets around my house, to just like a few things to remind me of what a great person he was. We went from 2011 to 2014. We went for Mr. Snapper's birthday in 2014. And then a couple months later, Uncle Dickie retired from the public eye and took time off. I emailed him a couple times during that time, but he really deserved that break after giving himself for so long. So I didn't push it. I didn't. You don't want to harass somebody when they're taking time to take care of themselves after giving so much. I can say that as a performer, it is exhausting performing. And you've got to be an extrovert and be on for everyone to give them the thing that they are hoping to get from you. And then you retreat to the bat cave and you stay away from people for a little while so you can recharge. So it's exhausting. And he gave and gave and gave. He gave so much that if you went to Slimmons and it was your birthday, he would lead a round of happy birthday. He would like hold for a long time on that note to get everybody to hit the right note. So he would sing you happy birthday with the rest of the class and you would get a necklace. So I went on my birthday one year and this is my little Dickie. And there was somebody who would make these for him and there were two versions. I got a Dickie in a box with a little happy birthday. And Mr. Snapper has one that I think is just a loose Dickie.
Dickie coming out of a cake, actually.
Coming out of a cake. Or he might be holding a cake.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've got this little treasure that I keep safe from dogs. Yeah, it's very special. And he would he'd put it around your neck on your birthday. Like, here it is. This is your birthday. And you'd get a birthday song. And he would make you feel very special. And the other thing that I have, he would give things away. Like he did a Halloween contest and I got 3rd place for Rainbow Dash, which I'll do Rainbow Dash in another episode, but he gave money to people and he didn't have to, but I was so excited. Like I'm going to Slimmons for Halloween, so I'm dressing up for this. But he would give things away and because he was who he was, he got access to things that not everyone would. So the sold out holiday Barbie in 2011, he got. On Christmas, we went to a Christmas Slimmons. He did a drawing, names of all of the students in the class, and it was a pretty busy class. And I won. And he signed it. So I have my autographed Barbie still in the package. Still signed. Going to Slimmons was our version of going to church. So when somebody would come to Los Angeles to see us, or if someone was in town and they had some time to kill, we wanted them to have a uniquely Los Angeles experience. So it was like, oh, you got to go to Slimmons. And we would take people to Slimmons and we would tell our friends, go to Slimmons. I have some friends who went to Slimmons before I knew about it. And I envy them. And then there are other people, like we would proselytize for the Church of Slimmons because you would leave and you would feel so accomplished and so good about yourself and the time that you spent and that you got to interact with an icon. You'd leave with either a picture of yourself with him if you brought your camera and wanted a picture, or get a book or a t-shirt or anything in the shop. And we actually have a couple of things. Let me put down Barbie. Mr. Snapper has the Slimmons shirt. Richard Simmons kicked my butt. And on the back, it says, ouch. This is great. So he got the shirt. And we also got a couple of towels. He pulled out one. We have this in pink and blue. Sweat with Richard Simmons. So you could get one of these. You could get it signed or you could just have it. A souvenir. Something that you could use in class. That was pretty great. He gave things away all the time. He'd get free samples somewhere. He'd give away things to people in the class. He'd just give things away. And there was one class where he was dressed like Peter Pan, and he decided, I'm just going to give away my outfit. I'm going to give away, here, you take this, and you take this. And it reminded me of Matt Kemp giving his gear back in like 2011. As a Dodger, there was a fan there. The fan was facing something. I want to say it was cancer. I could be mistaken, but there was a reason that he was asked to go talk to this fan at third base, and he went over and he was like, hey, shook hands, and then he was like, give me a baseball, signed a baseball. He's like, okay, great. Here's my hat. You know what? Here's my jersey, and here are my shoes. He's just giving to somebody that he knows it's going to mean a lot to. He would hold court after class sometimes and try to hammer some idea home for you, like love yourself, take care of yourself, be kind, stuff like that. And he was holding court one day, and he, as Peter Pan, he decided he's going to give things away. So he's giving stuff to people, and he knows Mr. Snapper. He was familiar with Mr. Snapper. And he gave Mr. Snapper his Peter Pan belt, which we have in this house. It seems like we have 3,000 boxes. We don't have that many boxes. But I pulled it out a couple weeks ago thinking, oh, I need to make sure I have this handy because I want to talk about Dickie in an upcoming episode. And I put it into place. And it's in place. I found it in the Showgirl's closet, I swear, and it's somewhere in this room. Somewhere. But we still have that belt. We held on to it because it's a great memory. The thing about souvenirs is that they should, souvenir is remembering things. So a souvenir is something that it's a totem of remembrance. And bringing it full circle, I have little totems of remembrance in my house that remind me of a very special, unique, very Los Angeles time. And the fact that I was able to connect with a childhood idol who knew who I was, believed in what I did, and understood it and encouraged it. He was such a kind person, and everything that people say about him, it's true. So generous, so loving, so open he was open for a very long time until he needed to take time away. I went to his house. I got to see him interact with his dog. He was not on at that time, and he was still such a loving human being.
According to Lenny, his brother, even as he withdrew from the public eye, he still maintained correspondence and phone calls and stuff like that.
Yeah, so he just gave and gave and gave and gave and gave. And how amazing is it that we got to share that space, riding on the same blue dot together at that time, and have that little slice of time together. And now I have my mementos. I should wear this when I need Dickie power.
Big Dickie energy.
Big Dickie energy. Thank you so much for joining today. I appreciate you indulging in my memories here. Please be sure to like, subscribe, boop that bell for notifications. If you want to know more about Red Snapper as a performer, a Red Snapper burlesque, then you can follow me on Patreon, become a patron, patreon.com/Snapperama, or you can hit our website. Just check us out at snapperama.fun. And you'll see me next time. Bye. Say bye, Dickie.